welcome back to my channel. This video is done by commission, and it is me plagiarizing 3 Wikipedia pages of 3 different types of plesiosaurs. One of them is more well known, so it's a longer Wikipedia article, and the other one, I just thought their species name was cute, so it's the 2 Alex cousins. 2. Just to clarify, I own 0 of the content. I am just using images off the internet, off the Wikipedia page, and reading straight off of the Wikipedia page, and also quoting some classic Benji Thomas. Please enjoy! First, I will talk to you about Cyrptoclidus, the genus of plesiosaur reptile from the Middle Jurassic period of England, France, and Cuba. It belonged to the kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Reptilia, superorder Cyrptoclidus. Yes. Order Plesiosauria, whoop whoop. Family Cryptoclididae, subfamily Cryptoclidinae, and the genus Cyrptoclidus. This type of species was initially described as Plesiosaurus eurymyrmus. By Phillips in 1871. The species name meant wide femur and referred to the forelimb, which was mistaken for a hind limb at the time. Fossils of Cyrptoclidus have been found in the Oxford clay of Cambridgeshire, England. The dubious species Cryptoclidus bograndi is known from the Kimmeridgian age deposits in the Boulogne-sur-Mer, France. Cryptoclidus vignanensis, which is now considered undiagnostic, hails from the Jaguar Formation of western Cuba. Cryptoclidus was a medium-sized plesiosaur, measuring 5.5 meters or 18 feet in length and weighing around 1 metric ton, about 1.1 short tons. The fragile build of the head and teeth preclude any grappling with prey and suggest a diet of small, soft-bodied animals such as squid and shoaling fish. Cryptoclidus may have used its long intermeshing teeth to strain small prey from the water, or perhaps sift through sediment for buried animals. The size and the shapes of the nares and nasal openings have led Brown and Cruikshank in 1994 to argue that they were used to sample seawater for smells and chemical traces. Cryptoclidus was famously featured on Walking with Dinosaurs, the episode called Cruel Seas. Benji Thomas did a series analyzing the scientific accuracy of the represented species. I shall now quote directly, reading off the transcript from that video. Because it has good information. I don't know, and I'm not smart enough to come up with my own stuff. The overall look of this animal is like the other marine creatures, and generally not too bad. The head of the Cryptoclidus is perhaps slightly the wrong shape, and there's the same issue with the tail fluke most likely being present, but apart from that, the design is pretty solid. The coloration seemed to be more based on pinnipeds, seals and such, this time, and not cetaceans, which is not unreasonable, and also reflects the very seal-like lifestyle shown for this organism in the episode, which is more unreasonable, but we'll get into that soon. Benji Thomas and his team also noted that there isn't any unnecessary shrink wrapping, and the same plausible locomotion method that they discussed in this video that I'm entirely ripping off was used for the Cryptoclidus as well as the other plesiosaurs in the Walking with Dinosaurs episode.
A study from 2017, which used reconstructed plesiosaur flippers in a water tank, found that by altering the timing between flaps of the limb pairs, these animals have a great deal of control over their thrust and the efficiency of their movements. So these reptiles were potentially alternating the exact flipper movements a lot, depending on how fast they wanted to go.
Benji Thomas and his team maintain that the locomotion modeled in the Walking with Dinosaurs episode is very plausible. However, that they would be able to support themselves outside of the water, not so much. Now let me return to quoting the transcript of their video. The main problem with the Cryptoclidus in this episode is that they are shown resting on land like seals before leaping into the water. I'm not sure where this idea came from, but it seems the only argument for it is the possibility that the very strong musculature of the limbs present on the plesiosaurs would be able to hoist them out, especially in light of the fact that pinnipeds that are heavier than Cyrptoclidus can move about on land. However, the anatomy of these marine reptiles does not support any possibility of terrestrial capabilities. With limb girdles that don't even connect to the spine, and an inability to properly process light or sound on the medium of air, as indicated
by the morphology of their sclerotic ossicles and ear bones. Plesiosaurs such as Cryptoclidus were entirely adapted for life in the water,
and would have basically been entirely stranded if they were to find themselves on land. Nothing like the creatures shown in Cruel Sea, which gracefully dive into the surf. So, yeah, that part is fake news. Fake news. Anyway, Cryptoclidus is really cool, and Benji Thomas, one of my favorite channels, and these are the different species. The undiagnostic Cryptoclidus bograndi, the aforementioned Cryptoclidus urimariums, the Cryptoclidus richardsoni, and the Cryptoclidus vignum. If I were to discover a plesiosaur in my archaeological dimging, I would call it a Cryptocutius gemili. Okay, enough about Cryptoclidus. Now to its lesser-known cousins, the two Alexes, Alexeyisaurus and Alexandronectes. Alexandronectes is a genus of elasmosaurid plesiosaur, a type of long-necked marine reptile that lived in the oceans of the late Cretaceous New Zealand. It contains one species, Alexandronectes zealandiensis. Fossils of Alexandronectes were found in the Conway Foundation of Canterbury, which can be dated to the early Maastrichtian stage of the Cretaceous. Fossils of it were found around 1872 near the Waipara River north of Christchurch, New Zealand. Alexandronectes belongs to the elasmosaurid subfamily Aristonectinae, based on the pterygoid structure and the A-shaped squamosal arch. However, it differs from other aristonectines in its smaller skull, different para-occipital processes, and different mandibular glenoid. A 2021 study used CT scans to create digital reconstructions of the holotype and detected the stapes in the inner ear, marking the first time this bone has been found in an aristonectine. The study also found a recess in the floccular lobe of the cerebellum, which may have functioned to stabilize both the head and retinal image of Alexandronectes. This is the first occurrence of this feature in an elasmosaurid. Last but not least is Alexeyisaurus. It is also an extinct genus of possible plesiosaur known from the Upper Triassic of Wilczek Formation in the Wilczek land of Franz, Josef land, Russia. Franz Josef. I don't know how the Russians say it. Anyways, here, I took a picture of where that's at because nymphs. It is a Russian archipelago in the Arctic Ocean, and it is currently inhabited only by military personnel. It constitutes the northernmost part of Arkhangelsk Oblast and consists of 192 islands, which cover an area of 16,134 square kilometers, 6,229 square miles, and are categorized in three groups, Western, Central, and Eastern, separated by the British Channel and the Austrian Strait. 85% of the archipelago is glaciated, with large unglaciated areas on the largest islands and many of the smallest ones. The islands have a combined coastline of 4,425 kilometers. There are occasionally sightings of bowhead whales, a critically endangered cetacean. The Russian Arctic stock of this species, ranging from Cape Farewell in Greenland and Svalbard/Spitsbergen areas to the East Siberian Sea, is considered to be the most endangered of all bowhead populations in the world. The waters around Franz Josef Island appear to be the most important place for this stock of critically endangered whale species. Franz Josef Land actually is declared a marine mammal sanctuary. 3 species of seals habit the archipelago. Harp seals are the most common, although they breed in the White Sea. Slightly less common is the bearded seal. Walruses were previously hunted, dramatically reducing the formerly abundant species. They have been internationally protected since 1952, and their numbers have since been on the rise, with between 1,000 and 3,000 walruses living in the archipelago. They also have minke whales and humpback whales and beluga whales. Sometimes they're orcas, sometimes they're narwhals. There are also sometimes some fin whales that migrate here. I just think this is super duper cool because all these cool animals live in an area that once was lived in by the old cool animals, like our very own Alexeyisaurus. It was first named by A.G. Senikov and M.S. Arkangelsky. I'm guessing the A in A.G. Senikov must have been like Alexei G. Senikov. But it doesn't say, and there's no link to click on the Wikipedia article. But anyways, that happened in 2010. And the type species is Alexeyisaurus karnoshenkoi. While it's considered an elasmosaur in the initial publication, it has been described as a partial, poorly preserved, and undiagnostic Cyrptoclidus skeleton in subsequent publications. I guess calling something partial, poorly preserved, and undiagnostic is like throwing shade, but in like archaeologist speak. I don't know.